Hi guys, welcome back to the Contented Plant. Today we are going to talk all about the care needs for the Ficus Elastica. Some people call this a rubber tree plant. I have this variegated variety that I absolutely love. Mine needs to be repotted, so I'm going to repot it while we talk about some of the care needs for this plant. So I bought this plant about 6 months ago, right before winter started. And it's just been kind of hanging out in this little nursery pot, but you can see it's kind of got roots that are starting to come up here. Its soil has gone down quite a bit. We're gonna go ahead and repot it into this nice big pot, so hopefully it will grow big and tall over the summer. It's been doing really well. It's been putting out lots of new leaves. This is its newest leaf right here. You can see it's shiny. And it's got another one coming up right in the center there. And you can see these bigger leaves are kind of more of a matte texture. So the new ones kind of have this gloss and shine, and as they grow, they kind of lose that shine and have this really pretty matte finish. One of the things that I absolutely love about this plant is that beautiful variegated pattern. I think it is so pretty. The newer leaves come out with a tinge of pink on them, and then as they grow, they kind of have this cream color that takes over that pink. So mine has smaller leaves because it is kind of a baby plant. This plant indoors can reach 2 to 10 feet. So if you buy a rubber tree plant, please make sure that you have the space to accommodate it when it does get full size. Outdoors, these can reach up to 50 feet, so they can grow quite big. The burgundy rubber tree plant is a close relative to this plant, which grows quite quickly. This plant will grow a little bit slower due to the variegated leaves. Variegated plants have less chlorophyll and do grow a little bit slower than their non-variegated counterparts. Because this is a variegated variety, you're going to want to make sure that you have it in an area with nice, bright, and direct light. It will survive if you try and stick it in a spot with lower light, but it's not going to do very well. And as it grows, if you have it in an area that's not great, the green is going to kind of overtake all of the variegated areas of the plant. Just like we talked about before with variegated plants, the plant to survive will continue to put out green leaves if it's not in enough light. It does not photosynthesize through these cream parts. They do not have chlorophyll in them. So make sure that when you're getting a variegated plant of any variety that you have appropriate lighting for it. These plants do well in a south window, somewhere they can get that bright and direct light on them for most of the day. I've had mine sitting close to my big picture window in the back here, and it has done just fabulous. This is not a super difficult houseplant to care for. It's fairly low maintenance. A lot of people find this one a lot easier than the fiddle-leaf fig back there, which tends to be a bit more of a drama queen. When you're watering this one, it's gonna want to dry out completely in between watering. It's not gonna want to sit with its roots wet. You can get root rot, and it also attracts fungus gnats. So make sure you're allowing that soil to dry out completely in between watering. A lot of people end up with brown spots on their leaves when they overwater, and the leaves will just kind of start to rot and not do well at all. So make sure that you have it both in a pot with a drainage hole and that you are allowing that soil to fully dry out. I like to water mine once every 2 weeks during the summer, and during the winter, I scale it back to once every 3 weeks. I really am very careful not to overwater this plant. I do not want to ruin those beautiful leaves, and it seems to be doing really well with a scaled back watering schedule. Since I'm gonna go ahead and repot this plant, I wanted to show you guys the root structure here. On the very top, we have this big root that's coming off of the main stem. This root is kind of woody in texture, kind of like you would see for a tree outside when you have those roots running along the top surface of the soil. They're very thick and they're very wood-like. The bottom of the plant has these really nice little tender white roots that are running all along the bottom and throughout the plant. So as these plants grow and mature, they actually will consume their soil, unlike a lot of other house plants that the soil is just going to kind of hang out in there. And as they consume the soil, the roots get closer and closer to the top. They just kind of pop up, and that's another great sign that you should probably repot your plant and refresh that soil in there. For the potting mix, I'm going to just use regular potting mix. This plant also can handle a cactus mix or a succulent mix if you have that laying around your house. And I'm just adding in some extra perlite for drainage. Okay, I went ahead and repotted it. It looks so good in its new pot. I'm very excited about that. So unlike a lot of house plants, rubber plants tend to do better when they're repotted once a year. And like I mentioned earlier, this is because they do consume that soil and they like to have their soil refreshed at least once a year. You're going to want to do this in early spring to avoid shocking the plant. If these get shocked, they will kind of be dramatic and start dropping leaves everywhere. Since this is a plant with very large leaves with a large surface area, you're going to want to make sure that you dust the leaves at least once a month. They can accumulate dust and debris from the air around us, and that can hurt the plant's ability to photosynthesize. So if you wipe them off, it helps your plant do a little better with photosynthesis. It also helps detract from spider mites. Spider mites absolutely love dry, dusty, dirty leaves. So if you're cleaning your leaves diligently, that will help detract from the pests. This plant is susceptible to pests like most house plants, and it can be thrips, mealybugs, spider mites, scale. So make sure that every once in a while you're going through and doing a thorough check of your plant's health. For spider mites, the best thing to look for is little evidence of teeny tiny webs. For other pests, you want to just look underneath the leaves and see if you can see any evidence of little white specks or black specks or anything moving. You can even buy a magnifying glass. I have one that I use to thoroughly inspect the leaves, which is especially helpful on my smaller houseplants. If you do find pests, you're gonna wanna start some type of a neem oil treatment as soon as possible. Make sure that you identify the pests so you know the best course of action to treat your plant. Since these plants grow quite tall, sometimes they can get tippy as they grow or kind of droop over to the side. If that happens and you want your tree to be more upright, you can go ahead and place a bamboo stick or a wooden dowel to help support the trunk. Okay, that is all I have on the rubber tree plant or Ficus Elastica. Please let me know if you guys have any questions down below, and I will do my best to answer them for you. Thank you so much for stopping by The Contented Plant. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.